But I'd like to ask you, and my very first question to you, sir, is what exactly is a tax law?
I will just give a simple definition of tax. Tax is a compulsory payment imposed by government. The old law was kind of has multiple separate tax laws, and it was very difficult to comprehend. We have the Personal Income Tax Act, we have the Companies Income Tax Act, we have the Capital Gain Tax Act, we have the Tertiary Education Tax Act.
So now I would like to ask you, sir, because I think about it a lot.
Yeah.
There has always been a tax law in place in Nigeria. So what is the big difference?
A lot of rumors have surrounded the new tax law. It's not a bad law, it's a good law.
Okay.
A good law that was introduced to Nigeria. Now, it also helped low income earners, this new law. These are the differences. In the old law, low income earners used to pay tax. You understand? They used to pay tax. But this time around, low income earners are exempted from paying tax.
Hello everyone and welcome. This is Primarald TV and today we're discussing the new Nigeria tax laws. There has been a lot of conversation, confusion and even fear regarding the new Nigeria tax laws. In December of 2025, there was palpable tension in Nigeria. Amongst Nigerians living in diaspora, there was also fear regarding the new laws that were passed and became effective on the 1st of January 2026. Today on the show, we have a legal expert who is going to help us dissect and make sense of this law, because a lot of people are unaware of what is the content of this law and even its implications. My name is MX9. I am your host. And with me in the studio, like I said, is a legal expert. He will introduce himself and he will help us make sense of what this law is about. You're welcome, sir.
Yes, thank you very much, MS9. This is a wonderful show. So my name is Ikyo Matthew Benben. And for short, I am always referred to as I am Benben. Initials before my surname, Benben. So I can consider myself as someone who is knowledgeable in tax because of my years of experience in taxation. So I'm happy to be on the show.
Yeah, I'm
And
happy.
I'm grateful.
It's a pleasure to have you, sir. And I am really happy because you have a wealth of experience. So we're really going to dissect this, and we hope that you help us explain this in the simplest of terms so that our listener will be able to understand. But I'd like to ask you, and my very first question to you, sir, is what exactly is a tax law? And why is it necessary for us to have tax laws in Nigeria?
First of all, I will just give a simple definition of tax.
Okay.
Tax is a compulsory payment imposed by government.
Okay.
It's a compulsory payment imposed by government for individuals and organizations. Or better still, these days we have online. So by extension, also includes content creators, people who are doing business online, advertorial companies and all that their services are purely online. So this imposition also extends to them by way of the new law that we'll come to talk about. So now these taxes, when it's imposed, because it's compulsory, like I said earlier, government uses to provide services, mostly public services or infrastructures like good roads, healthcare. I know a lot of persons want to dispute that. Is that really possible? But this is the basic essence of it. And we all know that we have a ground law, which is the 1999 Constitution, and Section 24, specifically paragraph F, define tax as a necessary payment made in mandatory for everybody. That is the duty for everybody to pay their taxes. You declare your taxes on one hand and also you pay your taxes promptly. So with that, it becomes Like we have the right to vote. You also have the right
to pay your
pay your
tax.
tax.
Yes. Okay. So that is extensively explained.
Yeah.
So now I would like to ask you, sir, because I think about it a lot.
Yes.
There has always been a tax law in place in Nigeria. So what is the big difference? What is that thing that makes this new tax law such a big deal that it is now being talked about? It's brought about all kinds of confusion, all kinds of fear, all kinds of people are saying all type of things. Some people would even tell you that for the fact that you've sent money to someone, the government is going to take some, amount out of your salary or out of your account. And there are all types of stories out there.
Okay.
Help us dispel the rumors. What is that thing that makes this new tax law so special?
Right. I remember when I was in secondary school, we were told that, of which I come to know and agree with, that most of our problems in Nigeria has always been rumor. A lot of rumors have surrounded the new tax law. It's not a bad law. It's a good law.
Okay.
A good law that was introduced to Nigeria. Now, specifically, what the law does, the old law was kind of has multiple separate tax laws, and it was very difficult to comprehend. We have the Personal Income Tax Act, we have the Companies Income Tax Act, we have the Capital Gain Tax Act, we have the Tertiary Education Tax Act, and others, etc. So it was very difficult to comprehend. So what this law did, we call it the unifier.
Okay.
Yeah, the new law, what it did was to unify all the laws.
All the old laws.
Yes, all the old
And
laws.
turn them into one.
Yes, and put them in one single document.
Okay.
And summarize it into specifically three different laws.
Okay.
So it makes it clear for us to understand. And it makes it clearer. So it's not a bad law. It's not a law that introduces confusion. So now the unified law that I called earlier than the unifier introduced the Nigerian Tax Act 2025 and also the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment. It repealed that one.
Okay.
Yeah, it repealed that one and introduced the Nigerian Revenue Service. So initially, they used to call FRS as a Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Yes.
So FRS is no longer FRS. It's now Nigerian Revenue Service, NIS. So the new law, NTA, is the most applicable law now. Though we have others in terms of procedure and all that. Now, it also helps low-income earners, this new law. These are the differences. In the old law, low-income earners used to pay tax. You understand? They used to pay tax. But this time around, low-income earners are exempted from paying tax. If you get to a particular threshold, I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So, and it also defines the issue of residency quite clear. You can now know where you're resident, if you're in a particular place, particularly with respect to your residency, the residency rule, that's what we call it. Like lawyers will emphasize on the residency rule, how it is applicable to certain class of persons and taxpayers with respect to where they are resident. Is it their principal place of residence or if they are itinerant workers? So the new law does that. It helps low income earners to be tax free. It also help with, there are some foreign companies that have businesses here in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So initially it was very difficult to capture them, like to have a legal framework to capture them in our laws. So this law has made that explicitly that it is possible now. Like for example, like Google, for example, Instagram, these are online companies.
Yeah.
Initially, our laws did not capture them,
Yeah.
but now we have a law now that captures it.
Okay, so while you were explaining this, you made mention about low-income earners being tax-free.
Yes.
And it will make me want to go to they talk about the tax threshold. There are all kinds of information online. People are saying that if you earn up to a certain amount, you're going to pay a certain percentage. If you earn below that, you're going to pay this and that. And there's also, now I'm asking two questions in one.
Yes.
First, what exactly does this threshold mean? Then, secondly, we have heard stories about people saying if money enters your account and then it has a certain remark, it will not be taxed. Like, say, for example, I send you money and I say the remark is upkeep or the remark is gift, that there will be no tax on you, irrespective of how much it is. Can you kindly help us clarify on this?
All right. The law captured a certain class of persons,
Okay.
and the law haven't looked at it. They classify them as low income earners and other classes of persons.
Yeah.
Like, let's take for example, you're earning less than 800,000.
Okay.
Now the law says if you're earning 800,000
Sorry,
less,
to clarify, when you say 800,000, are you saying on a monthly basis or per annum?
yeah, per annum,
Oh,
yearly,
okay, okay,
your earnings
okay.
for the year is 800,000 or less.
Per annum.
Yes,
All right.
you are exempted from paying tax.
Okay.
Now, let me use an example. Let's take, for example, you're receiving 66,667 naira. 66,667 naira. Sorry. I'm not too good at figures.
Okay.
66,667 naira per month.
Yeah.
Or less.
Yeah.
If you put that together,
Yeah.
you in a year, you see that you arrive at 800 or less.
Okay.
So for persons whose salary is below 66,000 naira per month,
yeah,
they are exempted
from tax.
Because when you put the money
Sorry, sir. Let me get something.
Get it.
When you say they are exempted from tax, you're saying zero tax.
Zero tax. They are not paying tax.
Absolutely nothing.
So it's
So I would like to tie something else in,
Yes.
which is the second question that I asked. When somebody is earning below 800,000 per annum, which is this 66 something
Yes,
you have
yes,
mentioned, are you saying that the government has no interest in whatever amount that enters your account that is not a salary?
all right.
Which is where the remark
Yes,
on the money
come
comes
to
in.
that, and I will give some instances why Nigerians don't need to worry.
Okay.
Like, if you are an employee,
Okay.
whether private or government or the likes, or if you're doing small scale business like petty traders and the likes, for me, these persons sometimes they don't even attain 800,000 in a year. They don't even get it. So for government, it's very easy, because for government to deduct pay tax, which is your personal income tax, is very easy because they are seeing your salary.
Yeah.
So you will see that your pay slip will show zero tax.
Okay.
To show zero tax. The same thing with petty traders, people in private companies. For you to benefit, there must be full disclosures. What does that mean? Full disclosures. You're doing a business, you're making sales, you because of the light situation we're having, even though we've been promised that we'll have a steady light supply.
Yes, Bayelsa alone.
Yes, for Bayelsa alone. Now, if you find yourself in that situation, you're buying PMS, you're doing other expenses. Some of these expenses are allowable. But how can government know that you made these expenses that are allowable? You need to have records.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by disclosures.
Yeah.
Because the revenue service, what they are doing when they make demands from you, they expect you to say, oh, I did this, I did that, I did this, so I'm tax exempted. You cannot benefit from it if you don't make disclosure. You sell B, you sell A, you write it down. You sell B, you write it down. You bought this to help your business grow, like PMS and the likes. You bought data to do this, to do advert, and you have to write it down. So you must have records to benefit from this, particularly with the low income earners. Now, let me read something out that will be very beneficial to us.
Okay.
Because you made mention of you receiving money and all that. Now, for the new tax law, these things are applicable as it is. So there's always this that we're saying, stop the rumors. Since I work for government, we are also trying to dampen tension in the system.
Yeah.
So we want to say, let's stop the rumors. Like, banks are not taking transfers. No narration does not cause deduction. Like, you send money to someone, you do not add narration. Nothing.
Does not mean that money will be taken.
Yes, nothing.
Okay.
Moving money from your own account does not expect you to incur any deductions from the bank. So generally, the bank does not have the right to deduct your money for whatever transactions you're doing. Now, what is tax? What are those things that are taxed? Money you earn as an employee or in an organization where you work or the company. Definitely the essence of business is to make profit. So money you earn is taxed. Freelancing is taxed. Online work, like all these content creators and all that. Recently, Lagos State government taxed Hella. I saw that he was complaining. You're a content creator, you're making money, you need to pay tax. Business side also, there are things you describe as side hustle. You're doing that. Like I mentioned, content creators, you have to pay tax too. Like professional services, lawyers, engineers. These days, there are certain people we've come to know that are quack engineers, that are architects and different. They are also in the work of civil engineering. Yeah. You understand what I'm doing? Doing building from the beginning to the end. They are just going scot-free. They ought to be taxed. Then another one is loan. What is not taxed? Let's look at that one. Transfers between your own account. It's not taxed. Loans, gifts, they are not taxed. Savings. It's indicated in your bank that you're saving money. It's not taxed. Bank know all these things. So generally transfer of incomes are not taxed. And I've not seen a situation where I transferred money and I saw a deduction that is taxable. Yes, you will see 50 naira for stamp duties. Yeah. That's part of our laws. And this new law captured that. Stamp duties. It's 50 naira per transactions and all that. We also need to, in summary, declare, just like section 24 say, you declare your income, make disclosures and the likes. When you make more money, say it. Register and stay safe. Like have a TIN number, know what you're doing. Like in this month, for March, all employees ought to make returns to the revenue houses as to what they earn and taxes they pay.
Okay, so I'll like to stop you there, and I want to ask a very important question.
Yeah.
When you were talking about what government will tax, what they will not tax,
Yeah.
you made mention of something very key, which is disclosure.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know. In fact, I'm not going to lie, I don't know myself.
Okay.
What is the process for me as a Nigerian? And see, if I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm trying to imagine the market women, the guys who are hustling in the streets, people who earn, and a lot of these people who are not educated, so to speak. What is the process of this declaration you're talking about? How do people go about these things?
It's simple. There are some certain things, ignorance of the law.
It's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse. So we need to key into that. You can't say I'm ignorant of what is happening in my country.
But at least someone is going to learn from this platform.
Yes, so that's why we are doing this, to disseminate information, to help people to know what is expected of them. Yeah. Okay, now to your question, for a simple petty trader, you don't have you're not educated, but at least you know what you're selling. Market women used to, they have this, I don't know what they call it, but I know that my mom used to have it then when I was little, where she put money. You know how many, let's say for example, fish seller, you know the numbers of fish that you brought for sale on a market day, and on a regular basis, you know what you bring into the market. Yeah. You have numbers. Yeah. So what you should do is to try to have records of all these things.
So my question is really not about the records.
Yes.
My question is, how do they do this declaration to the government? So the government would know
now the law,
how to tax them.
The law says that in every year, 1st of March and also ending of March.
This is part of the law.
Yes. The law says that every year, every individual, you should go to the revenue houses and make tax returns.
Sorry, sir. I want to understand. It is not like this is supposed to be automated. It is expected that people should go to the authority.
Yes, you
to
go
make
there.
Tax returns.
Yes.
Oh,
when you go there, they will guide you. On the procedure to follow. They'll give you a form, tell you what and what you do, what and what you declare your income. And you say, for this year 2025, I didn't even make much as market woman. But when I calculate all the money I get, like profit and everything, I made 200K with records. That's what we call disclosures and you're declaring it.
Well, how does the government, how do the authorities now know if there are discrepancies? How do they discover the discrepancies?
I think it's very easy when you do audit and when you keep records. If you're doing your business, there's ought to be consistency of fact. You need to be consistent with what you're doing. Like you cannot say because you want to exempt tax and you've been buying PMS in a particular day, a particular time, maybe 10 liter. Then because you want to exempt tax, you now say you're using 2 liter. When in actual fact, from morning till evening, a layman will always know that at least 10 liter will take you from morning till evening. So for people who disclose their records, for companies like individuals who keep records and all that, you're keeping this record to help government help you. You're not keeping it for government to come and say you're not to pay. It is your records that will make you to be exempted. It is your record. So those records will help you. So whatever way you know you can keep it, maybe you employ your son to record it for you. You employ anybody that will be of help to do it for you. But we all know the low income earners, even the market women that I used to describe, we know that they are low income earners, so they will be exempted.
Yeah.
Yes, the law is only applicable when you fall down.
So we are actually kind of running out of time, but there are a few questions I would still like to ask you. You made mention of the tax identification number.
Yeah.
What are the implications if say a Nigerian does not get this tax identification number? What or how also are we supposed to go about getting the tax identification number? Very quickly, sir.
Okay. Let me start with the latter. For you to get it, you can do it online. It's very easy.
Okay.
But before you start the process, you must have certain things or certain information at your fingertips. Like you must have your BVN number, you must have your NIN, you must have your date of birth, address, like that. So when you key into, for example, my office, my State Board of Internal Revenue Office, you key it online, you see it. There's a drop-down menu, you see BIN. For FRS, they use TIN.
Okay.
For Bayelsa State, we use BIN.
Okay.
That is the name we call it. So when you key into it, you have all those informations. Immediately you put your NIN number, all your informations will just appear.
Okay.
And you put in all the information. Automatically, you will now have your BIN number. Now, the Joint Revenue Board, which is the combination of all revenue houses in the state, including FCT and NRS, they released a press statement that says that the Joint Revenue Board reiterates that there will be no restrictions on banks' accounts or financial transactions effective of 1st January 2026 due to non-availability of tax IDs. So if you don't have one now, there will be no restrictions on your account. Also, the public should know that no deductions will be made from any bank account on the basis of having a tax ID or not. Now, for those who don't have, what they released further was that automatically, if you don't go or you don't visit the website of all these revenue houses, if you don't go there, perchance you just feel you just want to wait until when you take it on it. That's when you want to get one. And you have NIN number, automatically that will be your tax identity number.
Right, because I've heard people say
yes, automatically that will be, but there will be no restrictions for availability of tax IDs and the like.
All right, thank you very much, sir, for coming through, and I wish that we had more time because there are other pressing questions, which are part of the things that are making the rounds that I would have loved to ask you about. But thank you very much because you have really done justice to these topics, and we hope that we could have you some other time, to come and talk on the other gray areas that we didn't touch. So there you have it. You already know that the fact that you wrote gift or a transaction is not what makes it to be tax exempted. This is also another opportunity for you to learn. Please, one of the things that is very important for us to do is that we must follow the facts and not the rumors. Thank you very much for watching. This is Primarald TV. I thank you for this time. I hope that you would keep joining us for whatever comments or that you have to make regarding today's topic. Kindly comment in the comment section. Don't forget to follow us across all social platforms. My name is MX9. Thank you.